Let's do it.
Start.
Maybe I hear the blues are calling. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Hey! Whoa! Hey, yo.
All right, then.
What's happening? It's the AEW All In post-show. We're here.
Oh, it's a nice Sunday evening now? Late afternoon?
Yeah, what do you call 5 p.m.? Is that evening or afternoon?
I think of it as early evening.
I think 5 p.m. is early evening.
Yeah.
I don't think you can call it late afternoon
Like
anymore.
when it's like an acceptable time for dinner, that's evening for me. So like 5 o'clock, you had dinner, it's like
Yeah, what is late afternoon?
4:30?
I think between 3:30 and 5:30. I think 5:30. Yeah. Once 5:30 hits, then you're into evening time.
Yeah.
I think we're still in late afternoon. It's late afternoon
for another 18 minutes. Welcome. Thank you
for
for joining us.
How are we? How did you like the show? The wrestling show that we just watched. Some of us watched, some of us didn't. AEW All In just went down at Wembley Stadium, and they announced at the end of the show they're going to do it again next year, which is pretty major for them. They're doing it again.
I'll bring it back.
Which I think is pretty cool. And I think I said on the show last night, like, yeah, doing it once is cool, but let's see you do it twice. Because going to London for the first time and doing the 80,000-seat Wembley, sure. I mean, I see that as possible. Like, not out of the realm of possibility. Not crazy. Like, them doing what they did today makes sense to me as a guy who watches wrestling and knows the markets of wrestling, and it's their first time in Europe, first time in London, first time, and they're promising a pay-per-view, and I think they delivered with a pretty good show. So what they did today made a lot of sense, but can they do it again next year? Can they do it again the year after and the year after that? Like, how many times can they actually fill Wembley Stadium? And we're going to find out next year, but I think they delivered a good enough product today that if you bought a ticket for today's show, you're likely to buy a ticket for next year's show as well, as long as AEW doesn't completely fall apart as a promotion over the next year, lose all their top stars or something, but that doesn't seem like it's happening unless CM Punk beats them all up. We will talk about CM Punk and the controversy that he has caused.
Yet again.
It never ends with CM Punk. He apparently got into a fight with Jungle Boy between matches. Like, Jungle Boy's coming back from his match. Punk is going out for his. And they had time to fight each other. We'll get to that. We'll get to all the matches that happen here this afternoon at AEW's All In. I think that a pay-per-view that goes 4 hours is easier to deal with when it starts at 1 o'clock in the afternoon rather than 8 o'clock at night. It's like we're all staying awake a little bit easier at 5 o'clock as opposed to midnight here. So it was a long show, but I thought it was a good show from AEW. I'll run down the results before we start to break it down and give you our match of the night and our score on 10. I'm already seeing scores on 10. Doug Hepburn says 10.5 out of 10. Doug loved it. Leor in the chat. Doug, Leor, Patrick Deneau, Ray Cruz, members of the team, Angelo Contagonis. Shout out to everybody tuning in here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Kick, Rumble. All my Rumblers watching over on Rumble. Thanks for joining us here this afternoon, tuning into the Ringside Report Network, supporting the channel.
That's Rumble.
That's Rumble, baby. But the score's on 10 coming in already. Matthew Henley jumping in. What's up, Matthew? Member of the team over on YouTube. Join.ringsidereport.net. If you have not already, support the Ringside Report Network. We appreciate it quite a bit. That's what keeps this channel going is the members like Matthew. So matches here tonight. We had MJF in the main event getting the win over Adam Cole to retain the AEW World title. Billy Gunn and the Acclaimed beat House of Black to become the new AEW World Trios champions. Will Ospreay got the win over Chris Jericho. Darby Allin and Sting got the win in the coffin match over Christian Cage and Swerve Strickland. Saraya, in her home country with her family around her, won the Fatal 4-Way match to become the new AEW Women's World Champion over Toni Storm, Britt Baker, and Hikaru Shida. Eddie Kingston, Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, and Trent Beretta with Penta El Cero Miedo all together with the win over John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, Santana, and Ortiz in that Stadium Stampede match that was a wild mess of blood and weapons. FTR retained the AEW Tag Team titles with the win over the Young Bucks. Konosuke Takeshita, Juice Robinson, and Jay White with the surprising win over Kota Ibushi, Kenny Omega, and Hangman Page. CM Punk, in the opening match of the pay-per-view, got the win over Samoa Joe to retain his real world championship. Hook defeated Jack Perry to take back the FTW title, and MJF and Adam Cole in the opening match beat Aussie Open to become the new Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. So a show bookended by MJF and Adam Cole. I thought they did a tremendous job in the main event, and I am having a hard time picking a match of the night because I thought every match delivered. I think that there are definitely contenders for match of the night, but I'd like to know from you. I'd like to get the opinion of the Ringside Report Network. What did you guys all think was match of the show here for AEW All In? I thought MJF and Adam Cole did a hell of a job. I thought CM Punk and Samoa Joe right out of the gate was a great contender for match of the night. FTR and the Young Bucks had a hell of a tag team match. I loved Will Ospreay and Chris Jericho. I loved Darby Allin and Sting against Swerve and Christian in that coffin match. Like, we had a lot of good stuff here on this show. I'm having trouble picking a favorite, quite frankly. Like, a lot of these shows I come out going, well, there was one match that was clearly better than everything else.
The Sheamus match.
You know, the Gunther or Cody or Brock or whoever, you know. AEW, Kenny or Hangman usually steal the show, but they didn't tonight. But, man, they had a good match. I just didn't think it was the best match or really in contention for best match on the card because this card was so good. Tough to pick a winner as far as match of the night, but honestly, it wasn't the most pure wrestling match. And I know if Johnny North were here, Johnny North couldn't be here this afternoon. He would disagree with this.
Probably.
But I feel like Darby and Sting against Swerve and Christian was my favorite match. I think I had the most fun watching that match because it was nuts. Just what Sting did. When Sting couldn't break the table, you know? He doesn't break the table on Swerve, and then he goes up to the apron and he breaks the table again. He just puts his whole butt. He just sits on Swerve. Now, he's like, I don't care. I don't care if I break Swerve. This table's breaking this time around. And I think he did break Swerve's face, Sting's face when he landed. Like, it was crazy. And then you go to the other side of the ring, and Christian's propped up on a chair, and Darby's on the top rope, and he does this shotgun drop kick that is just devastating. That shotguns Christian right off the chair, and Darby hits and bumps hard. Darby took this bump where he hit the coffin drop on the coffin, like he missed Swerve, I think. And Darby coffin dropped the coffin, and that thing's like metal, and his head just kind of ricocheted, like whiplashed. That match was crazy, and the finish was really good, where Swerve, like, he had Sting in the coffin, but Sting put the bat to stop it, and then he hit the Scorpion Death Drop on the top of the coffin on Swerve, and then he put Swerve in, but Swerve put his body in the way to not get in the coffin, and then Darby's on the top, and he hits the coffin drop on top of the coffin again
to squish him, and
squishes Swerve, and then Swerve falls in the coffin. Like, the finish of that match was really good.
It's true.
That match was really good. And I know it wasn't the most pure wrestling match on the show. It was a weapons match, gimmick match, all sorts of stuff. But it was well executed. And Darby Allin and Sting put their bodies through hell. Christian and Swerve did too, but just seeing Darby and Sting do those crazy stunts together, it's like Darby is a bad influence on Sting in a good way, you know?
Yeah.
It's really good.
Sting's trying to keep up.
Yeah, it feels like Sting is trying to keep up with Darby Allin. Shout out to Harold Schneider dropping a super chat. Thank you, Harold.
And like Sting's never been anything. No one ever mistakes Sting for any kind of high flyer or any kind of like hardcore wrestler. It's not like, Mick Foley's trying to keep up with a young hardcore guy to see if he still got it. It's Sting. He was never seen as any kind of hardcore wrestler of any kind. But here he is, like putting his body really out there.
Yep. That's what he's doing now.
And I was telling you, it's like either he's broke or he must really love this.
He loves it. He's not broke.
Yeah. No, I think he handled his money pretty well.
I think he likes the money that he can still make in wrestling, obviously, but I think he also likes it. He likes being around wrestling. He likes being a wrestler.
Yeah, the big crowd.
He was great tonight. Sting was so good.
Also taking him back to the Georgia Dome.
And I know, it's not going to be everybody's match of the night, and I get it. But yeah, I thought we had some really good matches tonight. I thought MJF and Adam Cole was probably the best match from a critical standpoint. I think they did the best wrestling match, the best storytelling. It was a one-on-one world championship match. I think they did a hell of a job. But from a just pure entertainment standpoint, I thought Sting and Darby's coffin match was the best.
And I think I was a little bit torn too between the Sting and Darby match and Punk and Joe. But Punk and Joe, like a lot of matches on this card, had finishes that kind of snuck up on you, or just kind of came out like a little blink and you'll miss it. And you were talking about that the finish to the Darby match had like a more clear, concise, dramatic kind of finish, and I think I'm inclined to agree. That's my match of the night as well.
Whoa.
Or afternoon.
It was well built. It was a well-built finish. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun watching Sting do that butt bomb. Yeah, that was crazy.
And yeah, Swerve's face, I'm like...
Swerve's face was great. Like, oh my God. I can't believe this just happened to me.
Yeah, the camera's right in my face.
Yeah. Doug Hepburn says, Nick and I noticed Swerve's hair prevented the coffin from closing on the finish. Yeah, I noticed that too. Sting's bat can get in the way and save Sting, but Swerve's hair was out of the coffin. That's not a...
What's up with that?
Yeah. I noticed that too. I don't think that was on purpose though. So that was the real finish of the match. But yeah, a great show overall, I thought. Really good matches, and it doesn't really matter what you say is your favorite match of the night, whether it's Darby and Sting, whether it's FTR and the Bucks, MJF and Adam Cole. MJF and Adam Cole had a fantastic match. What about the show overall? What are we giving this thing on 10? I saw Doug give it a 10.5 on 10. I'm seeing Patrick Deneau giving it 8.5 on 10. And that's about where I am. I thought this show was great. I'd go 8.5 on 10 for this one.
That's pretty good.
I think a 9 is really high, but I think 8.5 is a fair grade for this show. Uh-oh.
Invaded.
Here comes the little man. What's up, little man? Did you like All In?
Oh, yeah.
All right, we'll come for a second. Come for a second and give us your quick review.
Come in.
Are you coming?
Yeah.
He's coming. Uh-oh.
Oh, jeez.
So scores on 10. Let me know in the chat. What did you give this show overall on 10?
1, 2. Woo!
8.5 is my score. Patrick Deneau gives it an 8.5. What do you think, Big Uncle? As your nephew tramples all over you.
I wasn't a huge fan of the. Here's up. Can you get on the floor? Get your feet on the floor. Oh, hello everybody. I wasn't a huge fan of the multi-man matches. The same Stampede didn't do much for me.
Yeah.
Neither did the Kenny Omega and the Konosuke.
That Stadium
the match
Stampede
just kind of snuck up on me.
I like the Stadium Stampede more than the 6-man though.
Yeah, but neither of them did much. I was kind of like a bit tuned out. So I'll say a nice 7, a 7.5.
7.5.
7.5.
7.5 is.
It was a good card. But Had a couple more down matches, and I wasn't a huge fan of a lot of the finishes.
Those are matches that I missed.
Yeah.
So.
You missed some matches.
Yes.
So what do you give it on 10?
On 10.
He's thinking about it. Think about what your score is on 10. I'm not seeing a lot of scores on 10 in the chat. Give me your scores. What do you guys think? Match of the night is tough, too. What was your favorite match and your score on 10? And then you got to go back because your sister wants to play with you.
Because you're calling her name.
So my favorite match?
Yeah. I really thought he had an answer there. My favorite match?
I think the main event.
Main event? Adam Cole and MJF? Yeah, you like them, right?
Yeah.
And you like that they're still friends?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
And
good move.
how about on 10? What kind of score?
On 10? 7.25.
7.25. I like it. Unky gave it at a 7.5. I'm giving it an 8.5. And my boy here giving it 7.25.
Sure.
Okay. All right, go back and play with your sister. Crawl under.
It wasn't the best.
It wasn't the best, but it was pretty good.
Yeah.
And who's the best wrestler in AEW today?
Well, MJF because he's a world champ.
MJF because he's world champ?
Makes sense.
Who's the best wrestler in the world today? In all the companies? He's going to give you a good answer.
Mm-hmm. He's thinking it over.
Our thing,
Yeah.
it's Link.
Link, yeah. What about in real wrestling?
And thing,
Yeah.
I think Bruno Sammartino.
Bruno Sammartino? All right, good answer.
That's a good answer.
All right.
Super chat.
All right.
I love this guy.
And Doug Hepper dropping a super chat. He says, Zev, finally some intelligent analysis. That's right. Say thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, go over there.
You're being called.
You're being summoned.
Being summoned by your mom.
All right, so there's the analysis from the leader of the pack.
Thank you.
The leader of the wolf pack. Yes, exactly. So 7.25 for him.
Yeah.
7.25.
I know we could do quarters.
No.
I was thinking quarter.
Pretty close to your score. And he thought MJF and Adam Cole was the match of the night, which I think a lot of people are agreeing with. So I think he's probably in the majority. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. He knows about Bruno Sammartino. I mean, that's a name. Yeah. That's a pull.
I thought he was going to go with, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes.
He was thinking old
He's
school.
like, Bruno Sammartino. I think it's because he has heard that Bruno has had the longest WWF title reign of all time, so he assumes that Bruno is just the best wrestler ever.
I like that thinking, He knows his history.
He might not be wrong. Yeah, he does.
How many 6-year-olds
I don't know.
could pull, if you ask them who's like the best wrestler, would say Bruno Sammartino?
I don't know.
All the wrestlers. People would probably say LA Knight before they'd say like Bruno Sammartino.
I was really surprised by his answer.
Yeah.
I did not expect that.
But it just endears him more and more to us.
But some great matches here. Ray Cruz, 8.5. Thought it was 8.5 on 10, which is exactly what I gave it. I thought we had a really good show. MJF and Adam Cole in the main event was great. They pinned each other at the same time. Ref called it a draw. Adam Cole wanted 5 more minutes. MJF said 5 minutes isn't enough. We're going to settle this thing. They resumed the match. Cole went for a roll-up with a handful of tights for a 2. MJF reversed with the same move for the same count. Cole got a thumb to the eye on Adam Cole. On MJF, rather. And then the ref bumped. Cole and MJF did the spot where they threw chair, like when the ref was down, they were throwing chairs at each, like they had a chair. MJF went to get a chair, and he threw it at Adam Cole, and he was going to pretend that he was hurt so that he would win by disqualification. But then Adam Cole was like, no, I'm going to throw the chair at you, and I'm going to fall down, so I'm going to win by disqualification. But if you would have won by disqualification, you wouldn't have won the title, Adam Cole. Why did they do that spot? Why? It made no sense at the time. When Adam Cole fell down, I'm like, okay, but what happens if the ref gets up? Then you win by disqualification, and then you're like, oh no! Like, what?
I also like that MJF then like wrapped the chair around his head so they're both down on the ground.
Yeah.
And then when the ref gets up, he's like, it must be Adam Cole's fault. Adam Cole's like, I'm on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I don't believe any of you. Like, this match is continuing.
Yeah.
You guys are pulling shenanigans, right?
Yeah.
And then Cole bumped the ref again when he accidentally hit his like finishing move on him, the Panama Sunrise. And then MJF got the diamond ring out and was going to hit Cole with it, but he couldn't do it, so he put it away. There were a few instances in this match where MJF was going to do some terrible things to Adam Cole, like put him through the announce table, but he decided not to do it because he's friends with him and he didn't want to hurt his friend. He just wanted to win. So MJF was about to cheat, decided he couldn't. Roderick Strong shows up, kicks MJF in the balls. Adam Cole is mad, but he still takes advantage, hits that Panama Sunrise, hits his boom kick, goes to cover MJF. The referee slowly revives. 1, 2, but MJF kicked out just in time. Roderick Strong gave Adam Cole the belt to hit MJF with, but Cole didn't want to do it. He didn't want to win that way. Told Roderick Strong to leave. MJF then rolled up Cole with an inside cradle, 1, 2, 3, and the match was over. MJF retains the AEW World Championship. He had to console Adam Cole, who was all sad after the match, telling him it could have gone either way. He gets the Ring of Honor tag team titles that they won earlier. Adam Cole throws it away, and he's still mad. Then MJF gets really mad. You know, there was a lot of wrestling acting in this. He's like, fine, you piece of shit. You never cared about me.
You're not my friend.
You're not really my friend. It's all about the belt. If you want it so bad, take it. So he gives him the belt, and he turns his back, and he's like, hit me. And Roderick Strong is back again, and he's like, hit him, Adam Cole, hit him. And Adam Cole doesn't want to do it, and then they turn to each other, and they hug, and then confetti goes off at that moment, and everybody's happy because Cole and MJF are still friends. And that's how they ended the show, which was, it makes sense. It's a nice moment. The fans like it. A lot of, that wrestling acting stuff that's very popular these days. But, it's part of the storytelling, part of the main event. It was good. I thought it was good. But I think maybe not my match of the night because there was a moment during that Eddie Guerrero spot with the chair where I go, well, that's just kind of for comedy, for nonsense. Like, I think if they took that spot out of the match, I would have enjoyed the match a lot better because it would have kept me in the match and what they were doing. But they kind of took a timeout for a little bit of
like look at the audience and be like,
for a little comedy spot. And like, I don't think they needed that in the world title match. Like, I know people liked it and all, but if you actually think about what they did, like, it was fun, it was funny, it was cool. But if you actually think about what Adam Cole was trying to do there, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. And if he's really that upset after losing the world title match, well, why would he try to get himself disqualified or get MJF disqualified? If he really wants to win the world title that bad, why would he ever play with that and almost get MJF disqualified so he wouldn't win the belt? It just
strains credulity.
If I'm supposed to believe that he's really upset for not winning the belt, then how am I to believe that he would let MJF do the chair thing? You can't have it both ways.
No.
So that the match was great. I'm not saying it wasn't, but when I watch it, I go, "Well, come on! Like, you didn't need that. You didn't need that." And it takes some points away from me. Like, if I were a Meltzer who grades all the matches, it would lose a half a star because of that. But I don't do that because grading every match, like, it's a lot of matches, and really.
What's the scale?
What is the scale?
I mean, where is the line?
There is no line. There is no scale. Like, there's never been, like, criteria.
Yeah.
Well, if you do this, this, and this, you'll probably get 3 stars. If you do this, 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 and this, and this, you'll get 4. If there's no criteria. It's just like, I like this about 3. I like this about 5. This was good for 5 imaginary stars.
Moonsault was more of a 4.
It's like wrestlers are arguing over getting a sticker on their paper. You know what I mean? Like, come on, guys. It doesn't really matter. All that matters is the money and the miles. It's the only thing that's real, brother.
Yee.
So that match was really good. The Acclaim beating the House of Black was really good to win the Trios title. The only thing, though, didn't like about that match was when Billy Gunn double-legged Julia Hart to put her on her back. Like, first of all, you're doing a double-leg takedown to a woman who is like a third of your weight. A woman who's a third of your weight. And then you and another man are holding her legs apart so that Anthony Bowens can go to the top rope and leg drop her in a crotch. What? What the hell was that? That was unnecessary. Why are we doing this? And they're the baby faces?
Yeah.
They're the baby faces?
Yeah.
Anybody who doesn't know this comes in the room, sees this, they go, what the hell was that? What is that?
It's kind of weird.
It's offensive. It's crazy.
They don't know. Julia Hart's just a lady with a hat, you know?
Billy Gunn is a gigantic man.
Yeah.
Why is he double-legging her? Why is he giving her a wrestling takedown? And then why are they holding her legs apart on pay-per-view?
There's 80,000, mostly men, scream, yeah!
Yeah, and the men in the audience are like, yeah, get her! What?
Yeah, she's got it coming!
No. No, guys. This is not the way. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That was terrible. No. There's no excusing it away. There's no well, in the context. I don't give a shit. That was bad. The optics of that, real bad. Do not take a woman down with a takedown, first of all, especially if you're Billy Gunn, who's like 300 pounds, He's not 300, but he's huge.
Yeah. And
then second of all, don't pull her legs apart. And I know it's your finishing move and it's what you do to the guys, but she's not a guy. She's a 105-pound girl. What are you doing? That was really surprising that AEW would be kind of tone deaf in that moment and just go, yeah, let's do that. What? It's not good. The match was
be
fine.
Other ways of dispatching. Because I remember in the old days, whenever there was a lady manager, the babyface guy, would just grab her and kiss her. I'm glad they don't do that anymore.
Yeah, well, that's no good either.
That used to be a very commonplace thing. It was
Yes. Yes.
But now, they do kind of like the finishing move. But yeah, the scissor one is like a bit you have
these
to do that
days
one?
you don't do anything to them. You do nothing.
That's true.
You do nothing.
Then we get shoved off the apron.
No, you don't.
Or their partner, the guy in the team they're representing,
might accidentally do something.
Yeah.
Yes, might accidentally do something, but not on purpose.
No.
There's no on-purpose man-on-woman violence in wrestling anymore, and that's a good thing. But today they decided, we'll do a little bit, and the little bit that they did was fucking pulling her legs apart. She's sitting there with her legs being held apart by two gigantic men on pay-per-view. What are we watching? It was fucking outrageous, man. What are you doing? How dumb are you?
At least when the Dudley Boys did it, JR would kind of have a thing they're insane. These crazy Dudleys.
Yeah.
At least a little bit.
Because the Dudleys were heels when they were doing that shit to the ladies.
When they were power bombing Mae Young. And
I get Julia Hart as a heel, but come on. You have to have a lady with you to do that for her. Where's Red Velvet when you need her? I mean, you kept showing Mercedes Moné in the crowd. She was in the building, and you didn't show her more than when she was than that match, right? They kept showing her during that match.
Cutting to her.
As soon as the Acclaimed won, they're like, what does Mercedes Moné think of this? And let's show her. I'm like, why they keep showing Sasha Banks during this Acclaimed match? They didn't show her. They showed her once earlier in the night, and then they didn't show her again, and then all of a sudden the Acclaimed is there, and they show her a bunch. Maybe she could have attacked Julia Hart instead of just sitting there.
A huge pop.
Maybe she is the one to attack Julia Hart, and then you have a woman attacking another woman, and we don't have this issue. But that's not what happened. Goddamn, pal. I mean, we can move on, but it was stupid. Will Ospreay beat Chris Jericho after a second Stormbreaker. Very good match. Jericho sang himself to the ring. with Fozzy backing him up, and
I mean, it wasn't good, but it was like fun to watch.
yeah, Jericho's voice doesn't sound the same live as it does on the record, does it?
No, and walking to the ring, and just you could just tell like at times where he had to catch his breath, like, "Come on, everybody, you sing, please,
Sing it!"
yeah, because what have I become?
What have I become?
Push them all away.
Everyone I've ever loved. Push them all away.
It was like a bad karaoke rendition. It was fun to watch. But it didn't really make you want to go see Fozzy live.
What is this in the chat? Alex Terrace. It's for Billy Gunn. So what? It's for Billy Gunn. You don't have to hit the lady. And Doug Hepburn says Julia Hart entered and slapped. It doesn't matter if she slaps somebody. You can't, like, take her down and then pull her legs apart and then do a finishing move on her. It was too much, man. It was overkill. Overkill. Don't excuse that. Come on, guys. Shout out Andy Burrows, who is out in London, heading back from Wembley right now. Shout out to Andy and the Hitting the Turnbuckle team out there watching the big All In show for AEW tonight. Ospreay and Jericho, big win for Ospreay in his home country. Biggest show ever. Biggest crowd ever. In his home. Beats one of the biggest stars ever. Match was great, you know, really good match. Jericho at this age still got it, right? 52.
Come on.
Looks great.
Yeah.
Jericho, Sting, all these old guys are killing it. So I enjoyed that. Ospreay getting the win. Nice to see Saraya get the win too. Saraya coming out with her family out to the We Will Rock You by Queen.
Wonder how much that costs in licensing. There's a few licensing.
Seek and Destroy.
That can't
from
be cheap.
Metallica for Sting. They did the We Will Rock You for Saraya. Tony Storm came out to God Save the Queen, which was just weird.
Yeah, I don't know what was up with that.
Shout out Angelo Contagonis dropping the Facebook stars.
Is that a heel move in England, playing God Save the Queen? I thought that'd be a big babyface move. She's Australian as well.
Yeah, I don't know if that was supposed to be a heel move or a babyface move. I really can't tell.
The audience seemed confused as well.
The audience was confused. And Tony Storm was playing it off like she was acting like she was the queen, like she was doing like a wave. And I was like, I don't get what the hell's going on here, Tony Storm.
Yeah. You don't have to do that, Tony Storm.
At one point, Saraya's mom, who was ringside, was holding Sheeta, but then Sheeta ducked and Tony Storm hit Saraya's mom, which pissed off Saraya real good. Saraya was real mad about that.
That was a good reaction shot. When it cut to Saraya in the ring, like,
yeah, she's like, "Oh, you hit my mom," and then it was on from there.
And the mom was like, "Hold me back, hold me back." The whole family was like holding her back.
Yeah, Tony Storm and Saraya were basically beefing from there. Saraya got the win eventually. She hit the Rampage finisher. I don't know what they call it in AEW.
That's the Rampage.
I mean, it's Rampage.
The DDT. Yeah.
All her finishing moves in WWE had Page in it. Rampage.
Page tap out.
Yeah. The PTO, right?
Page tap out.
Yeah,
that was a cool move.
She had a lot of, I think she did it in this match too today. She had a lot of
the Page Turner.
Yeah, she had a lot of moves that were Page based, you know?
Yeah.
And now I don't know what to call her moves.
Saraya Sizer. The Saraya sauce. The Saraya says sorry.
What?
I'm trying to come up with things about Saraya.
The Saraya rap.
Sort of like saran wrap?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, like she wraps around you, like a Rings of Saturn kind of thing.
Yeah, the Saraya rap.
That's right. Wrap around your face, you can't breathe.
But yeah, the entrance for Saraya was really good with her whole family following her and the crowd, and it's her first time wrestling there in a really long time since she was with WWE.
And it was a nice homecoming.
Yeah, and then she won.
Yeah,
that was the right move. She had to win.
And she hadn't won yet in AEW. She hadn't been a champion yet.
Yeah. And she is now the first woman to be WWE Women's Champion and AEW Women's Champion. No one has done that before, right?
Yeah.
If you look at the history of the AEW Women's Championship, which I am going to do right now to make sure that I'm right. Riho, Nyla Rose, Shida, Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa. Toni Storm never won a WWE Women's title. Jamie Hayter either wasn't in WWE. Shida. Saraya. Yeah, Saraya, first one to be WWE Women's Champion and AEW Women's Champion. A legend.
That's an achievement.
A legend.
She probably won't be the last.
Yeah, I don't think she will be. But she will always be the first. And she did it in front of this crowd in her home country. Like, that's a moment. With her family right there, celebrating with her after the match. That's the moment for Saraya that she came back out of retirement for. You know, like, all this stuff that she's done in AEW has been kind of...
Yeah.
You know, she had her comeback match with Britt Baker, and that was something, and she's got this group, the Outcasts, and they're trying to do something there, but she hasn't really had a moment.
No.
This was a moment. This was, hey, this is what I came to AEW for. This is what I came out of retirement for. You know, this was a moment. Alex Terrace saying Toni Storm was a UK Women's Champion. That doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't count.
That belt doesn't count at all. What are you talking? UK Women's Champion. I'm pretty sure he was a UK Women's Champion for a couple days. It doesn't really matter.
I lost to Alba Fire.
Yeah, he lost to Elmo Fire.
St. Elmo's Fire.
Yeah.
I lost to Rob Lowe.
That guy, he's good at wrestling.
Yeah, he is.
Very positive.
He is literally the best wrestler.
All right. What else happened on this show? Darby Allin and Sting beating Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage.
That was good. That was very good.
Tremendous match there.
Christian always bringing it.
Yeah. Eddie Kingston, Orange Cassidy, Best Friends, and Penta beat John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, Santana, and Ortiz in that Stadium Stampede match. A lot of blood. Finish came when Orange Cassidy hit the orange punch on Claudio with a handful of glass to win the match. He hit like 4 orange punches, and the ones he wrapped his hand in tape, and then he dipped it in a bucket full of glass. There was everything in this match. There was tables. I mean, a lot of tables. Like, everybody went through a table in this one, right?
Pretty much.
They did like 1,000,000 table spots, flying off the top rope, going through a table. Pentagon tried to do a sunset flip power bomb off a ladder through a table.
The ladder kind of broke.
Then the ladder broke, so we cut away, and then we cut right back, and they're on the top of the ladder again because they're trying again, and they did the flip off the ladder through the tables. Like, a bunch of tables broke in this match. It was the violent mess melee that you would expect. But I don't think it went too far. I think it was just right. I think they did it well. It wasn't too long either.
And for a Stadium Stampede
those
match.
Stadium Stampede matches have kind of dragged in the past. This one was just over 20 minutes. I thought they did a really good job here. A little bit surprised that the Blackpool Combat Club took a loss. John Moxley is on the losing side of a lot of things these days, and I wonder why. Like, I don't know. He won for so long.
Yeah.
I guess maybe now this is the return where he starts losing a little bit. It's got to be, give and take, I suppose. And Eddie Kingston tonight with his team. Orange Cassidy getting a lot of wins, a lot of big wins. He's been defending that AEW International Championship a lot, and he was the one to get the win for his team, beating Claudio Castagnoli.
All those orange punches,
Yeah.
Makes you wonder, if there are bigger plans.
Orange looked like nearly dead after the match too, right?
Yeah.
Like, he was a bloody mess, and like the whole team's like
blood orange.
It was blood orange, and the whole team was celebrating, and Orange was like down, like just hurt, and
his forehead.
Yeah, and then
like red.
He didn't even like get up in the ring, like he didn't get to his feet. He just kind of rolled out of the ring and then put his feet down on the mat, and like Chuck and Trent kind of helped him to the back. Like, he was selling for sure, but it was a rough match. Yeah, it was a rough one. And it was fun. Like, everybody did good. Trent took some ridiculous stuff.
Yeah, Trent kept landing on like the back of his head.
Yeah, man. Trent took a vicious beating.
I'd be like,
match.
oh, who's this taking that? Like, that's Trent. I'm like, oh, jeez.
Yeah,
because they're all wearing jeans. Like, they look so much goddamn like the same person.
Yeah.
I say, you want ice cream cone? All of them say yes.
All of them said yes. But Trent took some nasty stuff. Mox took the skewer thing in the head.
Oh yeah, the
from
broken
Penta.
up the kendo stick.
Yeah.
I thought it was spaghetti at first. It looked like he was poking dry spaghetti. I was like, what's he poking dry spaghetti in his head? I'm like, oh no, that's wood.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like, they sprung from Moxley's head. Like he looked like he had that was unique. That was definitely something I hadn't seen before.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they were feeling inspired by passing a Terry Funk,
Yeah.
A little extra violence.
I think there was some of that going on too, but Moxley always loves the violent matches. I see Angelo asking us what we thought about the Bray Wyatt tribute. I guess you mean the lantern that the House of Black brought out with them, as they have a nice dark entrance, and then all the people with their cell phones up in the air, a lot like Bray Wyatt with the fireflies and all of that stuff. So they came out and they dropped a lantern, and I know, of course, Buddy Murphy and Malachi Black, they both worked with Bray Wyatt in WWE, so I thought that was a classy thing. Made a lot of sense. Yeah.
Weren't that many tributes, I don't think.
A couple. Dax Harwood had Bray armband. I think he had Jay Brody Bray, I think, armband out there. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
It's been a rough year.
It has. There's been a lot of big losses in the wrestling business.
Yep.
Of different kinds, not just the old timers.
Yeah. Not just the old timers. Some young guys where you go, what the hell? What happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad. So yeah, they did that, and I think that was definitely a classy move. FTR beating the Young Bucks, hitting the Shatter Machine to retain the AEW Tag Team titles. Like, that match was fantastic.
Yeah. And Dax kept powerbombing Nick on like the back of it. Like, it looked like he was whipping him to the ground.
Yeah.
Especially Nick. It was always Nick, so I wonder if there was something there, because it always seemed a little targeted.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder. Those guys,
Yeah.
They were taunting each other throughout the match, but, they're also kind of building it up. But you got to wonder, there's a little extra pepper in there.
I think there's a little bit extra between those two teams. I think there's a professional respect, but not a real like of each other on a personal level. And I think that's pretty clear. The match, though, they can work together. That match delivered, and then some. Really good match. A lot of taunting of each other during the match, hitting each other's finishers, different things that they were doing. Matt Jackson did a little bit of Bret Hart taunting, stuff like that. The match was very good. And then afterwards, FTR went for the handshake, and the Young Bucks walked away. They didn't want the handshake. I wouldn't be surprised if we see this match again next week at All Out in Chicago, because don't forget, AEW has another pay-per-view set for a week from now.
That's ridiculous.
It is.
Are they going to do the same thing next year also, like have these two giant events within, or they'll time it out better, you think?
Well, they already announced All In for
so All
August.
Out probably they'll announce too.
All Out is usually first week of September, so I would not be surprised if we have the same thing next year.
That's ridiculous.
I don't know why. I still haven't heard a good reason why.
Yeah.
Why do two pay-per-views back-to-back weeks?
If the roster sustains a lot of injuries from this, they'll have to change it up.
Like, do they think people are going to pay for both of them? Wouldn't you make more money if you spaced it out a little bit more, give people time to recover from your show that was a marathon to watch, and also, cost $50? No?
Yeah, because we're going to get pretty much, it's like Backlash, isn't a week later.
Yeah, at least WWE, when they do a short turnaround pay-per-view, they give you 2 to 3 weeks,
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes, and that feels like, man, again, like Payback is next week. It feels like SummerSlam just happened.
Yeah, seriously.
Right?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But All Out is going to feel like, what? Why?
Yeah. Adam Cole and MJF again?
Yeah. FTR and the Young Bucks again? I think 2 out of 3 falls makes sense, though.
Yeah.
I'd like that.
Yeah, it's way too short of a turnaround.
All right.
Do we talk about Punk and Jungle Boy, or are we not there yet?
Yeah, we could get there. We'll get there here in a second.
And Kenny.
Punk beats Samoa Joe. Interesting booking, right? So we'll talk about Punk here and Jungle Boy Boy's match and Punk's match, kind of all in the same thing. So Hook beats Jack Perry to win the FTW title. They did a spot at one point. Jungle Boy, Jack Perry came out in a car. And they were going to do some stuff on the windshield, right? Jack Perry was going to slam Hook on the windshield. Which I think he did, right? Or did he take the backdrop?
I think he took it.
He took it, right?
That's how his arm
reverse.
got lacerated.
Yes. So Jungle Boy, I keep calling him Jungle Boy. I know it's Jack Perry now, but whatever. Jungle Boy goes to the camera and he goes, "Ding, ding, ding! That's real glass. Cry me a river." Right? Now, there's a story a couple weeks ago that CM Punk yelled at Jungle Boy and got into it with Jungle Boy when Jungle Boy wanted to do some sort of spot with real glass, and CM Punk got really mad about it and said it's stupid because you're going to get actually hurt and it's dangerous and you shouldn't use real glass. There's fake glass. Use that.
Mm-hmm.
So Punk was apparently mad at Jungle Boy for something he was trying to do. And now Jungle Boy during this match goes, "Ding, ding, ding, that's real glass. Cry me a river." Right into the camera.
Yeah.
And you go,
Okay,
I guess that CM Punk stuff was true, or it wasn't true, and he's just saying, dirt
Playing
sheets, you're all, playing it up, whatever.
Yeah, Cry me a river, maybe.
Sure, Becky Lynch with the lemonade,
or,
playing it,
observe
playing it
this,
up.
brother.
Exactly. Observe this, brother. When did Hogan say that?
That was like a WCW, like Macho Man inside, like, "Oh yeah." Observe this, brother.
Oh.
Gotta bring it back to Terry.
Don't mess with Hogan.
Yeah.
So Punk did a Hogan thing too during the match. He did a little bit of John Cena. He did the spin out power bomb, and then he gonna set him up for the "you can't see me," but then he did the this, and then he went leg drop, which I thought was great. Punk always with the references in his match. So Jack Perry has this match. They do the bump in the windshield, which is not a good idea.
Immediately, we were like, "Oh."
Yeah.
We hear like the glass break, and we can see how Jungle Boy's face. He's like, "Ah."
Yeah. Hook has this huge cut on his back immediately, and it's deep and gross. Jack Perry's arm is cut up something nasty immediately. And I think Jack Perry was the one who did the move. I'm pretty sure he did the move, but he was still cut. Because,
it's glass. It's
real
real
glass.
Cry me a river.
Ask Bill Goldberg about that.
Make it real.
So Jack Perry's actually hurt. They finished the match, whatever. He's cut a bit. Maybe he's fine. Cuts happen. You sew them up. You're good, right?
Avoid artery.
But sometimes you're not fine when real glass and deep cuts are involved, right? Things happen. I mean, Goldberg had to be out for a long time when he punched through the real glass. Yeah, and he ruined an angle in WCW, and Punk probably remembers that and goes, "What are you doing, man?
Yeah. Goldberg over here?"
Yeah, who do you think you are, Bill Goldberg? And Jack Perry's like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
Who?
Yeah, he's like, I don't get the reference.
That's that old guy with Undertaker?
I know who Bill Goldberg is, but I don't know what he has to do with real glass. And Punk's like, "Oh, you guys don't know shit about the business." And Jack Perry's like, "Shut up, old man." And Punk's like, "I'll kill you."
I can see exactly playing out like that.
Put you in a chokehold.
Yeah, I'll stretch you. Like Stu Hart. Jack Perry's like, "Ooh.
Get over here, you little punk." So... And I saw somebody tweet out like, "Man, Tony Khan's got balls. He booked Jack Perry, then CM Punk, then Kenny Omega and Hangman Page, then FTR and the Young Bucks, all like back to back to back. Like CM Punk, before his match, he has to see Jack Perry walk through the curtain, and before Kenny and Hangman's match, they have to see CM Punk walk through the curtain. So CM Punk is like sandwiched between all his enemies."
And who knows if they were hanging out, around Gorilla, just hanging out.
Yeah, just hanging out, talking shit about Punk.
Yeah, just like looking at him. "Hey, Phil, how you doing? Good stretching." Yeah, all right.
So apparently, now this is according to Wrestling Observer and Fightful Select.
Observe this, brother.
Observe this, brother. Hey, Meltzer, observe this. So the story goes from, I'll just read to you from the Wrestling Observer. A backstage incident took place just minutes before the AEW All In main card kicked off. It's first reported by Fightful and confirmed by Brian Alvarez. Jack Perry and CM Punk were involved in a physical altercation at the event. Approximately 10 minutes before Punk went out for his match with Samoa Joe, Perry had just wrestled in the final match of the pre-show against Hook. During Perry's match, he said to the camera, "It's real glass, cry me a river," as he and Hook did some spots involving a car window. The comment was in reference to a confrontation he had with Punk at a Collision taping this summer. Perry's comment is said to be what led to the backstage altercation.
No kidding.
Also, Punk's short temper,
Yeah.
which they can't mention, but I'll throw that in there. Fightful Select reported that one side of the story said Perry confronted Punk backstage, leading to a shove. Perry confronted Punk backstage. Why would he confront Punk?
If his arm is bleeding, and
Maybe he said, "Hey, Punk, real glass, got a problem with that?" You know,
Yeah.
maybe he said that, but confronted Punk makes it seem like he was mad at Punk for something. But,
yeah, he went look for Punk in his locker room.
yeah, but that's not. I mean, Punk was just standing there, and Perry's probably said, "Hey, real glass, go fuck yourself, old man." You know, who's Goldberg?
Punk was probably saying like, "I told you."
Jack Perry walks through. Who's next? And he slammed his head into a locker
It went, whoa.
and concussed himself.
And Undertaker's just there.
So this Fightful Select reported one side of the story said Perry confronted Punk backstage, leading to a shoving contest between the two, followed by Punk putting Perry in a choke. Now, what choke do you think it is? I'm going to say guillotine.
He just like pulled his head down.
Not a rear naked, because he's not getting behind him. He's not doing that. Shove, snap down,
Yeah.
boom. Right?
Yeah, probably.
That's a quick
You
rap.
know?
Rap and tap,
You know, with
baby.
the shove, you kind of like take-
Shove.
Yeah, you
Shove.
Yeah. Whoa. Ugh.
I almost put him to sleep right there, brother.
It's quick.
I got a good guillotine. It's one of my favorite moves. So I think it was a guillotine he put him in. That's what I'm going to guess. So that's what happened. Punk and Jungle Boy got into a fight backstage again. It never ends. My name is CM Punk, and I love to fight.
Backstage.
Backstage.
Dude.
Ridiculous. I mean, what are you going to say, man? I mean, Jack Perry obviously egged him on, but he must have got permission from somebody to do the windshield spot.
Yeah, I'm guessing Tony Khan must have approved it because that was real glass. They didn't have it replaced.
I mean, it's not really CM Punk's job to tell talent what to do or not to do in their wrestling matches, right?
No, he's not an agent.
So,
You know,
maybe he should step off.
step off.
Step off.
Maybe.
Maybe he needs to step off, like. But if Jungle Boy is saying that stuff to the camera, egging him on, and then he goes backstage and he goes, "What?
Yeah.
What? Who's next?"
What are you gonna do?
Maybe Punk goes, "Well, fuck you, man."
Yeah, I could see it being like maybe they were talking like when everyone's in the ring, during the day, everyone's kind of like working on spots and stuff, and Jungle Boy was saying like, "Oh, I want to use real glass," and Punk overhears it, goes, "What are you, crazy?"
Yeah.
And then they kind of start getting into it.
Yeah, I
I
can
can
see that.
Punk kind of puts on like a player coach kind of hat on. It's like, "No, look, man, like don't do that."
Yeah.
And then like Jungle Boy's like, "Whoa, what's the problem?" Whoa.
Yeah.
And then like Punk is like,
What's the risk here?
"Yeah," and it's like, "Let me tell you a story about Bill Goldberg."
Yeah. I mean, anything can happen. Anything could happen. You could die. It could go through your neck, and real glass is dangerous. Getting put through a windshield isn't fun and games. It's real, and it can hurt. And they're going to have real cuts, and they're going to have to deal with it. And, I just think it's funny that CM Punk, it's always something. It's always something. And I wonder, are wrestlers just getting into a lot of fights backstage, and we're just getting the ones reported because it's CM Punk, and he's the one that makes news, and he's the one that gets clicks? Or is CM Punk just fighting everybody all the time, always getting into beef?
I think it's a bit of both.
I think it's a bit of
Sometimes you
both.
hear about stories after the fact.
Well, there was Sammy Guevara and Andrade, and and it's true. Sometimes you hear about them after the fact,
and biographies
years
and stuff,
later,
yeah.
that you didn't know.
Like Jericho got into tussles with people, and it's like, oh, him and Shawn Michaels would get into it, or
I don't think I knew the Road Warrior Hawk Macho Man fight stories when they were happening. I just heard about them after the fact.
yeah.
Years after.
Well, yeah, we are getting news faster, about altercations backstage and things. So
but that's also we're getting news faster in general.
Yeah.
About everything. So it's I don't know, but CM Punk seems to be in a lot of news. Like Andrade and Sammy Guevara had their thing, and that got reported. But CM Punk seems to have a thing with, count the number of wrestlers that CM Punk has had altercations with in the past 3 years, right? It goes Jungle Boy tonight, Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, Hangman, Ryan Nemeth, Christopher Daniels. I mean, Colt Cabana, kind of. He's not. And those are the ones we know about. That's 7 guys.
Probably Brandon Cutler.
Also, it wasn't not Tozawa.
Michael
Nakazawa.
Hey, I think he was involved in the tussle backstage.
I think that's 8 guys, honestly. 8 or 9. Might be 10. Round it up.
With Jericho, maybe?
Jericho? Yeah. He had a whole thing with Jericho. They had to have a meeting and hash it out and everything. And even then, like, they're not on the same TV show. Like, all the guys that CM Punk has had beef with that we know about. Jericho, Kenny, Hangman, both Young Bucks, Dolph Ziggler's brother,
Nakazawa,
Jungle Boy, Nakazawa, Brandon Cutler, Christopher Daniels. That's 10 guys.
Somebody else.
Oh, I'm sure there's more.
Wardlow, probably.
Triple H kicked him out of WWE backstage. You gotta go. Vince says you can't be here.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Punk went backstage at the WWE show.
Had to go.
And Trips was like, nice to see you. And Punk, according to the story, was like, can we talk? He's like, yeah, maybe we could talk. Hang on, I got to make a phone call. And he's like, Vince, Punk's here. What do I do?
Get him out of there, pal.
Get him out of there. I don't want to see his face. Okay. Sorry, Punk. You gotta go.
Doofus voice. Okay.
Get him out of. Okay, Vince.
Good step.
Fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like, sorry, I don't make the rules. I just play the game.
Like, nobody wants CM Punk around. And I love CM Punk. I think he's a great wrestler. He had one of the best matches of the show. His promos are the best. He's one of the greatest all-time Hall of Famers. He's a goddamn legend of the wrestling business. The summer of Punk was one of the greatest summers in the history of pro wrestling.
It felt like all of our complaints had been heard.
Yes, he felt like the voice of the voiceless. But now he just seems like the angry old man who's mad at everybody. Yeah. Who's still great. Like, I'm not taking...
And sometimes I'm taking... Like, in this one, I'm kind of taking Punk's side.
Yeah, I mean, he's right. Jungle Boy,
Jungle Boy was foolish.
Jungle Boy was dumb, and he's probably rubbing it in Punk's face. Like, I could imagine now, at this point in the AEW locker room, the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega being as powerful as they are, and openly, I mean, not publicly, but you got to figure openly backstage, hate CM Punk.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you're an employee of AEW and you see the EVPs go, fuck CM Punk.
Yeah.
Then you go, fuck CM Punk. Fuck you, CM Punk.
Right, guys?
And then CM Punk goes, well, what the fuck, man? Fuck you, you know? Yeah. And then people are mad at Punk. But it's like there's an attitude. If your bosses openly go, fuck that guy, it's hard for other wrestlers who might feel a certain way or feel slighted or feel disrespected or feel like, well, Punk just doesn't get what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
He's
whiny.
He's trying to mess with my art. I want to use real glass. And he goes, no. And some of the wrestlers go, well, he's just a bitter old piece of... The Young Bucks are right about you, Punk. When really, he's actually a smart wrestling man trying to give you solid wrestling advice. But even when he's right, he's wrong because there's a climate of hatred towards CM Punk, possibly in the AEW locker room. But you gotta figure, if Punk is saying all these things about the Bucks and Hangman and everything, the Bucks and Hangman, when they're by themselves in the locker room, they're not like, man, that CM Punk is great. I don't know why he doesn't like us. You know? They're probably like, man, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
You know? F that guy. F off.
Yeah. Good Christian boys.
They don't swear. They don't swear.
So they say.
So, yeah, Punk's at it again. I don't know if there's a post thing.
Yeah, I mean, we're coming out. Has it been 2 years or has it only been 1 year since the All Out press conference? Has it only been 1 year?
It's been a year. It was All Out.
It's been a year.
All Out last year.
God darn, it's been a long year.
Yeah, it's been a long year of CM Punk causing controversy.
Yeah.
An entire year of this.
It's only been a year. Feels like at least 2. since the can't manage a target comments and all that. It's only been a year.
Yep.
That's amazing. And yeah, if there's a press conference, I don't know if Punk's on the roster for tonight. They might find some others first.
I would not do a press conference. I don't think it's a good idea.
For not.
And
Gotta give a shout out.
Angelo Contagonis asks, how much longer do you think CM Punk will be in AEW? I think for as long as he wants to be in AEW. I don't see a reason for AEW not to have him around because he's such a talent for pro wrestling. He's great. I just wish he would chill out a little bit, you know? I think he'll be in AEW for as long as he wants to be in AEW and as long as AEW wants him. I don't know how long his contract is, but, you know, I see no reason for him to stop wrestling. You see how good his match was with Samoa Joe tonight?
Yeah.
Physically, he's able to go. So, you know, let him go.
He got good heat.
Yeah, he's great. CM Punk is great. I think he should be in AEW. I think everybody should enjoy his work in AEW. If we didn't know about all the other stuff that happened with CM Punk, it'd be all good. But the reports come out and you go, oh, man, at it again. Crazy old Phil. Crazy old Phil. I love CM Punk. Phil Brooks, I go, I don't know, man. What are you doing? You know? You still got to do this, Phil. Come on. Come on, buddy. Yeah. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think Punk will be in AEW, as the great Terry Funk would say, forever! Forever! And then here is the sign of the night for sure.
For sure. 100%.
When I saw this, I said, yes, the London crowd, they are my favorite wrestling crowd. They get it. 4-9! 4-9, Jeremy!
That's insane.
That's insane. So there's the 4-9 sign, which I was loving. Some people loved it. And there, of course, 4-9, Jeremy.
4.
That's insane. There's the great Mark Corrigan from the fantastic show Peep Show, which is one of our favorite shows.
One of the greatest shows of all time.
A British sitcom that is just the best show ever.
One of the easily most quotable shows of all time.
Yes.
Ever. So easily quotable.
So many great Peep Show quotes throughout the years. So many.
So, right, ballet shoes. Yeah, I bought them from my sister. Then she took up bowling. Different kind of shoes.
Every time I think of something and I go, should I do this? I think, is this wrong?
Yeah, I did have that thought on the other day.
Is this wrong?
Is this wrong?
Suck mommy's finger.
Gromit doesn't care. Gromit's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just going to have a homeless hip-hop cheesy luncheon banquet.
Elgar!
Why must you always find me at my worst moments?
Elgar!
That's just one episode.
Oh, God. Really good. 4-9. The 4-9 sign at Wembley.
It's one of the legacies of the show, too. I love that.
4-9, Jeremy. Because you know, if you're eating Indian food and you're ordering 4-9, like, what are you doing?
It's too much.
And it was between 3 guys.
Yeah.
4-9 between 3 guys. Ridiculous.
And he ordered a rice for himself as well. He's not sharing his rice anymore.
Yeah, my days of sharing rice are over, Mark.
And I remember I did a little research into this. They were like Peshwari naans, which has like pistachios, like other stuff on it, so they're like richer.
Oh.
They're like even heavier naan.
4-9.
4.
And he had individual rices and an extra naan?
Yeah, they didn't even start ordering like,
Ridiculous.
Try the lamb pasanda. It's incredibly rich and creamy.
Oh, yeah. When he gets the Indian food.
Yeah, because he knows he's been eating bhajis.
Yeah, he knows he's been eating it.
That's what he's got. Tuck in. There's bhajis. Is he fucking
What's
me?
the yellow fever? Fucking yellow.
Bagging your girl. Classic yellow.
Classic yellow.
If you've had it up to here with yellow shit, let's lock and load.
So if you haven't seen Peep Show, go watch it. It's a show created by...
what we're talking about.
It's a show created by Jesse Armstrong, who also did Succession. So if you like that and you haven't seen Peep Show, watch Peep Show.
It's
that
true.
4-9...
They inform each other, actually, I find.
Yes.
Especially if you've seen Peep Show before Succession.
Succession's funnier.
Yeah, because there's some references. There's quite a few Easter eggs.
There's a lot of, like, it's a similar type of humor.
Yeah.
but in a different setting.
Yeah.
So it doesn't always feel like it's funny, but if you watch Peep Show, you're like, no, that's a Peep Show style joke.
Yeah.
You're supposed to laugh here.
If you're uncomfortable, it's funny.
Yeah, exactly. It is funny.
Thank you for the chicken, Logan.
Yeah,
That's a Peep Show moment.
That's Peep Show.
That's Peep Show.
Yeah. Mark would have done that. Thank you for. He would have lost it.
Johnson.
Thanks for the chicken, Johnson. Yeah.
Mark, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of that.
Oh, Johnson.
That 4nan sign really made the show.
Made my eyes light up.
It was an 8 show, but it got an extra point because there was that.
And it was easily visible, too.
Oh, constantly visible.
Oh, not.
Several times throughout the show. It was right up there. And I can't see the person who's holding it up. Whoever you are holding up that 4nan sign, thank you. We love you. We respect you.
You did a real service.
That is the best wrestling sign I've ever seen at a show, especially a show in London.
Yeah.
It's like, mwah, perfect.
Yeah, it's
Thank
like
you.
of all the British comedies, which there's quite a rich history.
Yes.
So a lot you could do Monty Python.
And of all the quotes to just to have
Peep Show
4nan with the question mark exclamation point.
Yeah, not even like
you know exactly
David
what
Mitchell's
that is.
head or quoting it or anything. You know,
Just
4nan is 4nan.
4nan, Jeremy. That's insane.
That's the legacy.
Classic Peep Show line.
Oh yeah.
So good. I lost it.
Daryl.
There he is. 4nan, Jeremy. 4.
So young there.
Yeah, I know. He looks so young. Mark. We love you, Mark.
Yeah.
We love you, Jez. Hans.
Soph.
Alan.
See, you're everything now, Sophie.
Dobby.
know?
Elena.
Lovely Elena.
Mm.
But yeah, you know.
I love Jez whenever he talks about Elena.
Lovely American Nancy.
Yes. Oh God, it's one of the best shows ever. It might be the best comedy ever.
That too. Also, if you're enjoying the work of Olivia Colman, who's in every movie and TV show nowadays, she's got kind of her start here, and she does some fantastic
She's so
work.
good.
She's really there's so many layers to her character.
Oh,
You think she's just the girl you have a crush on in The Office kind of thing, but there's so much to explore.
My favorite Sophie line is what she goes, "I like you, Mark, but I don't love you." She goes, "I like you, Mark. Oh, thank you. That's nice, Sophie. But I don't love you." Oh, all right. I hate you. That's the best. Why did you bury me, Mark? In the ball pit? All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Peep Show.
We appreciate you. Go watch Peep Show now. Thanks for supporting the Ringside Report Network. Harold Schneider, you're the Super Chat leader of the night. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Harold. Thank you to all the members, Patrick, Matthew, Leor, Harold, Angelo, Doug, Ray. Ray. I saw a lot of members of the show in tonight, and appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in to the AEW All In post show. We'll be back next weekend, a busy weekend. We got WWE Payback on Saturday. We'll be on after that, and then AEW All Out will be on after that. Big weekend next week. I'll be back here Thursday night, 8 p.m. for Ringside Report MMA on the Ringside Report Network.